This video is brought to you by Clean My Mac X. Last year in 2020, I did a video on how I use iCloud Drive to manage and store my entire digital life. Now, the idea behind using iCloud for everything is if I were to lose my current Mac for some reason, like have it stolen or destroyed, for example, without a single backup, I could grab any other Mac computer and be up and running within few hours, without any data loss, all thanks to iCloud. Hey, Iskren here, but feel free to call me E. Now in this video I will discuss the following. First off, what is the difference between iCloud Drive and competitive products, for example, Google Drive or Dropbox? What makes iCloud Drive special when you are into the Apple ecosystem and the reason I prefer it, how I set up my iCloud Drive and how I use it, what happens with all my files and structure if I were to switch to a new computer, and in the end I will address some of your questions from my last video with the hopes of clarifying this digital service. Let's rewind a bit. So what is iCloud? And this question of course applies to all competitive services as well. Think of iCloud as an external hard drive, but invisible. It's a rented digital drive where you can place all your stuff and access them on demand. Of course, internet connection is required. Some people might have difficulty grasping the concept of iCloud if you think of it as an exact external drive, and usually that confusion comes from the evergreen concept of copy, pasting and deleting things from an external drive to your local drive. With iCloud, we talk about something being on the cloud, but not locally, and we use words like offloading. So let me try and explain visually. This is my iCloud. I have rented 2 terabytes of storage, of which I have filled out 1.2 terabytes, leaving me 800 gigabytes of available free space. In my iCloud, I have all my photos, contacts, calendars, emails, reminders, notes, passwords, and many other things that the Mac computer can sync, including all my digital files, and I mean all of them, my life. That includes my work files, documents, personal assets, and lots more. Sort of like a 2 terabyte external drive that holds my life. Now my laptop has 512 gigabytes of storage, obviously less than everything that I have on the cloud. But that's not a problem because I don't really want to download everything from my iCloud to my laptop. I want to download locally only the files that I most often use, and this is where iCloud shines. Throughout my use, iCloud has figured what I require most often and downloads only those things, leaving the rest on the cloud and on demand. This is called optimized storage. An easy way to distinguish what's on my iCloud and what is locally on my computer is the little cloud icon that represents the file being on the cloud. For example, if I happen to look for something that is not downloaded, all I have to do is search for it as with any other computer file, and double-click to open it or press the little cloud icon to trigger a download, and now that file will reside physically on my computer. iCloud keeps it there, but not forever, and whenever enough time has passed where I haven't found a reason to use it, it offloads it from my hard drive until I need it next time. This exact scenario applies to my iPad and iPhone as well. With both of them, just as with my computer, I can access and download and work with files that I'm currently in need of. Whatever I do on iCloud stays on iCloud and can be accessed through all my devices. That same synchronization and optimized storage apply to your iPhone photos, for example. When you have that feature enabled, even if you have tens of thousands of photos, since not all of them are on your phone, you would never run out of space because iCloud will automatically offload older photos and videos to save up physical space on your iPhone or iPad. By the way, if you end up enjoying this video, subscribe, it's free and you can always change your mind. Now, let's take this one step further. That same 2 terabyte of iCloud storage plan that I have is also shared with my family. My wife, mother and in-laws all share the same space with me, or rather I share it with them. Mind you that they only use my storage space without having access to any of my files. In fact, it is a private space for everyone, so no one can access each other's files. By sharing my 2 terabyte space with my family, they don't have to purchase separate iCloud accounts. And instead, they can use my storage to offload their iPhone's photos and iCloud data. Also, a huge bonus is the fact that their iPhone backups are over the air, and are automatically uploaded to that same 2TB iCloud drive. This way, we're all safe and calm that everything is preserved. So really, one monthly fee for a single service that serves a purpose for 5 people while providing storage, backup, and protection for everyone. iCloud is the foundation for all Apple products and services, and unlike other competitors like Dropbox and Google Drive, it is part of every Apple device. You don't need to install or set up a special software or any apps, or allow or set up any sort of synchronization. iCloud is there from the get-go. When you get your new Mac, iPad, or iPhone, you can just choose to use it or not. In my case, if I were to have my laptop replaced tomorrow without having created a single backup, knowing that everything that I have is on iCloud, all I have to do on the new Mac is log into iCloud and download the apps that I want to use. That's it. All the rest of the synchronization will be done automatically by iCloud, including setting up my passwords in Keychain, calendars, email, Safari, bookmarks, and of course, downloading all the files and folders that I most often use. A final touch for me would be to move around and create shortcuts in the Finder sidebar so that I can quickly access the folders that I plan to use on a regular basis. To be fair, iCloud is not the best or most feature-packed cloud service there is. But before I share some of its flaws and answer your questions from my last video, let me address something that I'd like to call data diet. Since all of our data assets will only grow over time, I have become sort of like excess data sensitive. And unlike before, I'm very careful not to keep around things that have no value to me. The best tool that helps me for this is called Clean My Mac X, who are kind enough to sponsor this video. Now, Clean My Mac X is an oddly satisfying helper that aids by getting rid of unnecessary and invisible junk on my computer, like tons of invisible cache files, unused DMGs, incomplete downloads, and old baggage. By pressing a single button, the app locates massive old files that were swept under the rug. Even more useful, however, is a special tool that builds an interactive map of my entire drive, helping me take a glimpse and organize everything. Also, Clean My Mac X can delete unwanted apps, plugins, and extensions that have been left undetected for months. And if I want to get rid of an app the proper way without leaving any trace, Clean My Mac X can help me do that too with the built-in uninstaller. Notarized by Apple, this app is extremely easy to use, providing you with a great fluid interface that also helps you keep your online activity private. And even though we're talking about Macs here, stay malware free, all with a single press of a button. Be sure to check out Clean My Mac X in the description below. So let's mention some of iCloud's flaws. First off, iCloud doesn't have incremental file sharing, at least not to my knowledge. That means you need a stable connection, because if a large file upload gets interrupted, you'd have to start over. Something that Dropbox, for example, addresses with a feature called block level file syncing, or updating only parts of files that have changed over time. Second, iCloud is a black box. You have no control over how and when it syncs. All you can do is stop it at some point, but that's it. And you can forget about a bandwidth limit, wherein other cloud services can control and avoid clogging the internet connection. In my previous example of setting up a new Mac where everything is happening automatically, this of course is the case, but once that process of synchronization is triggered, all I can do is wait, which depending on your internet speed and amount of files might take hours. If you happen to use iCloud for the first time and you were to upload all your files on it, as I did, keep in mind the following. Once you drag and drop everything in iCloud, you might see some temporary decrease in local storage space. That's normal. In fact, you might notice some weird loss and gain of local storage until iCloud does its magic. As I said, it's a black box, but it works. Now let me try and answer some of your questions from my last video. Jean asks, is there a way to force items back to the cloud once they have been downloaded? Yes, you can. If you right-click on an item or folder, you can choose Remove Download, which will offload the file from your hard drive. A popular question has been how I set up my iCloud drive. It's simple. Go to System, Settings, Apple ID, and check or tick the iCloud option. Next, grab all your files that you want to put on the cloud and drag them into the iCloud folder. In there, you can organize them in any way you see fit. Then, let it do its magic. Here's another question. The document folder is gone under my username after enabling documents and desktop from the iCloud drive. Where did it go? If you enable documents and desktop on the cloud, they disappear from your local drive, respectively from your local username folder, and appear in iCloud, where you can just access them as if they were in your hard drive under your username folder. Here's the next question. Would an iCloud drive unnecessarily fill up my drive storage just because it is empty? And the answer is no. iCloud doesn't download things that you don't use. Here's another question. Would love to edit off from iCloud. Is that even a thing? Or what's my process for editing and storing my Final Cut library? I wouldn't recommend editing off of iCloud. I use fast external SSDs for that purpose, because if I were to use iCloud, I would fill it up to 2 projects. If you enjoyed this video, you might find my How I Set Up a New Mac guide useful, which I'll link right here. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below or ping me on Twitter. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure. This is Z, over and out.